Then check this out.
What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another ARMAJET video. Today, we will be talking about what weapons need to be nerfed. And this is for, I guess, 1.6.1. So if you're looking at this in the future, might not make sense. So another, I guess, disclaimer, if you will. You might not agree with my opinions on weapons, but try to keep it civil in the comment section. Or, anywhere for that matter. Discord, Twitter. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so the first, I guess, quote-unquote weapon is the Venom. So, it's pretty oppressive to play against, especially if you're a newer player. And the fact that you can't kill yourself with it anymore really made it viable in public matches or even in tournaments. I feel like it became too viable, if you get what I mean. Just as an example, in a competitive tournament, I'm not sure which one, I believe it was Tribe who pulled out 4 Venoms on Snowbase and proceeded to demolish the other team with the Venom. I feel like currently it's way too good. And yeah, some might argue that you don't really get kills with it, but I argue back, that's not the point of the Venom. The Venom is a support weapon, and it's a great support weapon. If you have even a competent team, or like below competent team, you're gonna do well with the Venom. And maybe not even a nerf, maybe some sort of rework can be done to the Venom to make it much more in line with the other weapons. I don't know what you could rework, but maybe something like that rather than outright nerf would make it better to play against in the battlefield. Alright, the next on my list, if you want to call it that, is the Havoc. Oh, once again, it is so oppressive to play against, especially if you're a newer player. And I think it's because of the reload speed. The reload speed is quite insane. And honestly, at the moment, the Havoc is better than the other snipers, in my opinion. It's just way too good. It has a great fire rate, great damage, and essentially you just gotta stay back and shoot into areas where you think people will be. And it also has AoE, so that's a plus. So I feel like toning down the fire rate will probably make it better in terms of having the possibility of using other snipers rather than just the Havoc. Yeah, the last, I think, 2 updates ago, something like that, where they essentially slowed down the bullet velocity, really brought the Havoc into the forefront. So I really don't want to nerf it too much, because it's just not going to be used again. But a slight nerf will do, I think. And maybe, even if it doesn't, we can go from there. Because I don't want to outright kill the weapon off. Okay, the next weapon, I think, needs a nerf is the Badger. It's, once again, I feel like it's a common theme here. It's definitely difficult to play against, once again, if you're a newer player. And I feel like it's gonna turn people off from the game since you get the Badger pretty early on. And if you don't know how to play against it, you're pretty much done for. And I feel like the main advantage the Badger has is that ability to arc your projectiles. So you could essentially stay back in the lower levels of a map and then just shoot above. Havoc, you kind of have to go the same lane because it's just a straight rocket launcher, straight line. But especially with the Badger, you can arc those shots pretty well. And it takes a while to get a hang of it, but once you do get a hang of the arcing mechanism of the Badger, you can absolutely wreck the opposite team and get maybe even multiple Badgers on your team. Might be GG, unless your opponents know how to face it, but even then, it's going to be pretty tough. So for this one, I only want a slight nerf, like a very slight nerf. Maybe to damage, I'm not really sure. But once again, I don't want to completely kill it off. So, especially for the Badger, a very slight nerf would do. Next has to be the Thunderstorm. So the Thunderstorm, it's kind of in a weird spot. It's been buffed and nerfed and buffed and nerfed time and time again. I really still don't think they've hit that sweet spot in terms of if it's overpowered or underpowered. So currently I feel like the range needs to be shaved off a tad bit. Likewise with the Badger, I don't want to completely kill off the Thunderstorm. Obviously with any of these weapons, I don't want to like completely kill it off from the meta. I just want to reel it back in and make sure it's I guess less viable compared to other weapons that frankly need to shine more. And we can talk about that in another video for buffs. But Thunderstorm, I feel like if you shave off a bit of the range, it'll be maybe less used. It's pretty funny, I think in a recent tournament, I think that both sides at one point all had Thunderstorms. So even maybe if you don't want to shave the range off, you can shave off the movement speed with it, make it a bit heavier to use. And that might probably solve the, I guess, issues with the Thunderstorm. Alright, next on the list has to be the Nightfall. The only reason the Nightfall isn't really good right now is because of the netcode changes. So I'm anticipating if the netcode becomes better, which is the goal, I would hope, the Nightfall will be absolutely overpowered. The only thing holding it back is the hit markers. And if hit markers become fixed, it's gonna be very overpowered. The problem with this weapon is that I know the devs want this to be like the only weapon that does 100 damage, but it's kind of hard to see what else you can nerf with it, because in 1.0, the Nightfall really didn't have that, I guess, quote-unquote, charge-up time, and it was extremely overpowered. Like, I remember back in the day where I would use Nightfall, Sticky, Airstrike, and GG, that would be it. But now they added this mechanic where you kind of have to hold and then shoot it. But even then, I feel like it's going to be overpowered in the future if they fix hit markers. So what they can change, I really don't know. I would recommend damage, but I know they don't want to change it. Maybe make it heavier? I'm not really sure. That's one the devs have to figure out. I really don't know. Alright, you guys, that was it in terms of what weapons I thought needed to be nerfed. If I missed one, let me know in the comment down below. Did you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'm kind of curious to know, as this is just my personal opinion on the meta currently. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Expect to see another video regarding buffs. weapon buffs in the future. I'm not sure when. Depends on when I have free time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy this sort of content. I'm just waiting for the netcode to be fixed so I can start posting gameplay again. But other than that, that is it. Hope you guys enjoy it, and peace.